The movie is technically incredible. The racing scenes are amazing. The sound design is insane. And it really does feel like you're sort of inside the car in a lot of scenes. A movie that's that impressive on a technical level is all well and good, but the movie didn't really have much to say. And that's kind of where it kind of lost me.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Hey now, what's going on, gentlemen?
What's up?
Boy?
How are we doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Welcome back. Warming up. Yep, that's true. It is warm in the 50s. 60s today. Holy shit, I can open the window more.
60s. Yeah.
That's big. It's
We're in
61 right
70s.
now. Oh,
High 70s here.
life is
78
insane.
right now.
Turn the AC or heater off and open the house up last week or so. It's been nice.
It's getting warm. We
Nice.
lost an hour of sleep last night. We're doing good, baby.
Yeah.
Yep. That was rough.
Welcome back, folks.
It
We
was
hope
rough.
you're doing well too. This is episode 164. We're talking about F1, not the actual real races, but the movie. That's right. Starring Brad Pitt. Yep. Also nominated, Best Picture, Best Actor,
Yes.
couple of awards we'll get to later. But I didn't even realize the real F1 was going on. I messaged you guys last night. I was like, wow, what a funny coincidence that F1 is happening at the same time we're talking about F1. And it just so
it's
happened
racing
that
season.
we were supposed to talk about this movie like 3 weeks ago, but we just kept having issues where we were canceling recording, so it got pushed up. So as Bob Ross
Divine timing.
once said, happy accidents, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. So we will be covering that later. Stick around. Should be a good convo. I feel like this movie didn't come out in 2025, but it came out in June, which is like not that long ago. So I don't know why this movie feels like it came out like forever ago. I feel like, and I feel like this is why I didn't watch it for this long, is that it like, I feel like in my mind it's sort of blending in with Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah. I can see that.
So I don't know. Anyhow.
Cars.
Yep. Yeah. Just car stuff.
There's some great car
Easy
movies
to-
out there.
Yeah.
Are
Easy
there
to
though? I
introduce.
haven't seen any racing movies really, other than
Fast and Furious 1 and 2 and Tokyo Drift are
I've
some of
seen
the best of all time.
I've seen those three. Then obviously I fell off the series when they became the Avengers and they're like in space and shit.
There's
Yeah.
the old, what is it, a 2000s movie with Sly Stallone. It's not a F1. It's a, I don't even remember what kind of,
I do know what you're
It's
talking
not
about, but I
even-
don't think I've seen it.
not even it's not, they call it something different now, the type of car it is, but it's below F1.
Mm.
But, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
And of course,
Talladega Nights, Daytona Thunder.
yeah, Talladega's great.
What's this? Hulk. Eric Bana has a pretty good driving one.
Never seen it.
Bullet's a great car video. I was just thinking about that the other day.
Car video?
Or movie, film. Yeah, a lot of driving in that one.
Sound like my mom. You watching a video tonight?
Yeah.
How was your guys' week? Did you guys get into anything cool? Watch anything good? I haven't watched shit this week. I'm behind on shows.
Dang. I'm caught up on Shrinking. I started watching Paradise season 2. It's really good.
Oh yeah, I've heard that show's pretty good. Haven't seen it.
C and I watched all 4. We didn't
Yeah, 4
realize that it
episodes.
came out. Yeah, it's already at 4 episodes. So we watched all those in one night.
That's like a sci-fi
Nice.
show, right?
Yeah, I mean, depends on your
Kinda.
definition of sci-fi. It's like futuristic Fallout type,
Like apocalypse.
hiding in a shelter.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
They built a huge underground city in the mountains, and then they needed to take shelter. And there's the political,
So it's like
and
Silo,
social
basically?
drama. Yeah, but it's an underground town. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're, they
Like a bunker
replicate
stuff.
sunlight and weather
Yeah.
and stuff. With
I see.
it's pretty high tech, so sci-fi-ish.
I see.
Yeah.
So it was like The Shelter in what's the movie with Brendan Fraser where he like
Like a Jim Carrey movie where they create the world for him, except it's political drama and shit.
yeah. What's
Secret
the-
Service agents. And
What's the
whatnot.
Brendan Fraser movie where he It's the comedy where he like wakes up from the fallout shelter. How about you, Dusty? You been watching anything good?
I haven't watched any new shows per se, just the normal stuff. I did watch a couple movies this week, though. Watched Shelter, the new Jason Statham movie. He's on an island. Kid gets crashed there in a storm, and he's secret operative trying to save the kid. It's a little predictable, but interesting.
Speaking of movies, I want to go see. There's a new horror movie coming out called Undertone, which does look good, but I'm a little worried about it. It's getting the
too much hype,
getting the long legs treatment, which this happens a lot. Like, yeah, I mean, I just have no hope with it. It's like, why?
Well, the premise is interesting, so there's that.
Yeah, no, I think the premise is cool. I think it looks good. Like, I've seen the trailer for it, so I'm sold. I don't need the marketing hype, but like, I think like genuinely people get paid to say this shit. Like, there's this guy on Twitter. I've seen multiple posts, but this guy, he's he's like a movie reviewer guy, and he said, upon second viewing of Undertone, I can confidently say it's the scariest film of the decade. An auditory descent straight into hell. Seeing it in a theater where the sound surrounds you and drags you deeper into the film is an experience I truly never want to have again. Ian Toussaint proves himself as an incredible director with a massive future ahead. I swear I left the theater feeling cursed. And those final 30 minutes hit harder than anything I've seen in years. Wow. Might be the best movie ever made.
Has to be.
Yeah. Why do they do this, Dusty? Why?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes there's guys that hit on the auditory visual anxiety, and this may be one of those chances because of the premise, but I don't know. I mean, we ran an article or covered an article this last year about wasn't Rotten Tomato reviewers getting paid, right? Didn't we cover that? So like nothing, we make fun of reviews and scores and stuff. That's what we do here, but yeah, I don't take too much credence into that stuff. So
it actually makes me want to see the movie less.
Why people do it is for clicks, though. That's why they do it.
Well, I know why they do it, but I'm just saying it's like, if you're like, I don't know if there's like a studio person listening, which there isn't, but if there is, stop this shit. Because like, just show me the movie. I'm already sold. Like, this makes me want to see it less, regardless of how good it is, because that shit is annoying. And it only happens with horror movies. I don't know why. Like, we were talking last week how horror movies are like it's the only genre you can go into blind and not really have to like worry about it. Like, I don't think the people making the horror stuff or the studios putting them out like understand the genre that like people already go to horror movies. You don't have to sell them on it. They're fun to go to. They're fun to go out of for a night, get scared, whatever.
You don't have to oversell it with hyperbole and bullshit.
Yeah, it's like it's not like you're
this
going.
Is the best movie you'll ever see. If you don't watch it, you'll die.
Like F1, that that's a movie that needs marketing. It's like, here's a racing movie. Like, everybody's like, oh, I don't watch racing, so I don't give a fuck. Yeah, but no, we promise it's a good movie. Like, for this reason, this reason, this reason. So go check it out, even if you're just a movie fan. Nobody gives a fuck with horror. It's like, you don't have to say that. And because guess what? It's not the scariest movie of the decade. We all know it's not. If it is, great, but it's probably not because you're saying it is.
Probably not.
So, I don't know. That shit just irritates me. But I want to see that. A lot of stuff in the news. I think maybe we should talk about some of the news, Dusty. What do you think?
Sure.
I want to come out hot because I'm pissed. I saw something. Okay. I'm surprised you didn't have this in your notes here, but we've been talking about Netflix and Paramount and all this stuff, but Netflix just made the most they made the most dangerous move in Hollywood. They ended up not buying Warner Brothers, as we know. We talked about that, but instead they bought something I think far more threatening. And I'm curious what you guys think. They bought an AI company. Did you hear about this?
Yep.
Not only did they buy an AI company, but they bought an AI company built in secret and founded by one of Hollywood's own, who was recently on a very popular podcast known as the Joe Rogan Experience. talking about how AI shouldn't be used in Hollywood, but should instead be used as a tool. And everybody was sort of like giving him props and praise, like, "Hey, Ben Affleck, what a great thing to say. You're representing the people, the voice of the people." But now we see that, wow, no, he was just doing a sales pitch for his own product. And it's actually funny because I've been seeing clips go back over the last few months, and he's been like quietly talking about it. He's like, AI sucks, but like as a tool for lighting and stuff like that, that's totally fine. So folks, if you're not aware of what happened, Ben Affleck started a company called Interpositive, and you've never heard of it, and that's the point. He quietly registered it apparently under a shell company called Finbone LLC. He filed patents under his legal name. He built a proprietary AI data set on a closed soundstage, all while making movies. And what Interpositive does is it takes raw footage, Marvin, from a film shoot, the dailies, and trains a custom AI model on it. So he's literally taking daily film footage of film shoots, and he's training the model. And the model can then relight scenes, reframe shots, remove stunt wires, fix missing angles, color correct entire films, and add visual effects. Work that currently employs thousands of people in post-production.
Yeah.
And now Netflix owns all of it exclusively, and no other studio gets access to it. What do you think of that?
It's going to turn out bad. There's no way this results in a good product.
What do you think, Dusty?
This is you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube type deal. AI's here. Now we talked about it last week. People aren't ready for AI movies or AI scripts, but AI is a tool. Many directors have talked about it. It's actually in some of the news. We're going to talk about it even today.
Yeah.
But as far as like de-aging or facial modifications, where like some comedian wants to do a Bill Clinton impersonation, it's a lot easier for AI to make them look like Bill Clinton than for them to spend 6 hours in makeup and then do the impersonation. So I can understand the uses as a tool. I also understand the implications of the job losses, which is sad.
Yeah.
But like I said, the toothpaste is out of the tube and you can't put it back in. So I don't know where we go from here because it's going to be leveraged in many different ways. Some good, some bad. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. That's where I sit.
Did you
on the fence, I guess.
Did you use the Bill Clinton example because you saw the...
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, that can't be just a coincidence.
No, it wasn't. I saw it.
For the show Ted, Marvin, Seth MacFarlane did a bit in the show where they CGI'd. It wasn't CGI. They used AI to make him look like Bill Clinton.
Yes. Oh, okay.
And he was
he
like,
said, I couldn't. He's like, with that amount of time, I couldn't have done it any other way.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So I can see where these guys are like, wait, we want to do it like this. And rather than pay $100,000 to have a whole team of CGI artists figure it out in a week, AI can do it in an hour.
Right.
So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see where we go from here. What happens with
the timing,
especially
is
with the negotiations with the unions and whatnot. It's going to get wild.
The timing is interesting because a week ago, Netflix walked away from an $83 billion bid to buy Warner Brothers, and as this article I was reading says, Wall Street cheered and the stock jumped 14%. Days later, they quietly acquired the technology that could make traditional studios obsolete, and they bought. It seems like people seem to think they bought Hollywood, what is going to become Hollywood's replacement. They made Ben Affleck, the Oscar winner, a director, a guy who people trust, the face of it. And
sneaky.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people seem to agree, even him. And he was talking about with Matt Damon, like that AI is the single biggest issue on the table. And like the last fight over like the Hollywood shutdown that happened, 2023 at this point, a year or two ago. It feels like it was yesterday. It's crazy. So yeah, they're calling it tools for filmmakers, but and it empowers storytellers, but like, we know what that's going to amount to, right? Like it's how to cut costs and how do you eliminate costs? You eliminate human beings that you have to pay.
Expedite the product to market and eliminate the cost to produce it. Yes, that's what they're doing.
And like, the stuff that it could do in seconds, like it takes VFX teams like weeks to do. So it's like, that seems up.
And they're all unionizing now because of how Disney treated them during the MCU phases.
And the SAG-AFTRA's contract expires in June, by the way. So also very interesting timing for this to have happened.
Yeah, they're negotiating right now. It's not in the news because nothing's happened, but they're talking.
Well, this is going to make a huge impact now. Not that I know the guy personally in order to have any attachment to him, but like I think that it's like from Ben Affleck, who is such like a steward of the industry. I think it's like extra up because like he is part of the industry. Like he should be somebody defending it. Like that's like I feel like his responsibility as being part of it. And he
it's a lost cause though. You can't this not the hill to die on, I think is where he's standing because he knows you can't win this battle. It's out of the, like I said, it's out of the tube.
Yeah, right. But don't sit on Joe Rogan's couch and say that AI making movies is bullshit. But
I mean, people accuse Joe Rogan of being a fence sitter and not really taking positions and just asking generalities.
Oh, it's not Rogan. This has nothing to do with Rogan. I'm just talking about Ben Affleck.
I know. He's basically doing the same thing. He's, taking one position, but kind of leaving room for him to be on the fence about it. Of like, AI sucks, but I've got this AI tool that's not full blown.
Yeah. He's technically still standing by what he said.
Yeah, no, he is.
6 weeks ago, Ben Affleck sat on Joe Rogan's couch and said AI making movies is bullshit. Then he said the line that matters now is going to be good at filling in all the places that are expensive and burdensome.
There it is. He was doing he was doing a sales pitch for the thing that he knew was coming. Like
so he is against AI writing, which is good.
Yeah, but
because technically, if you think about it, like AI editing of like lighting and stuff, as far as creativity, I wouldn't compare it to like AI writing. Like,
I don't even think this is a creative argument for me anyway.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
you're
for
just
him,
talking about the jobs.
Yeah, maybe for him it is as a creator, but it's like you're putting thousands of people out of work.
Yeah, he probably doesn't give a shit about that. He's probably thinking about the creative part about it. Like,
it's filling in the gaps.
It's not affecting the writing. It's more so the editing piece, which
I mean, fuck the writing, bro. What do you think?
I think they're going to use this tool for writing too.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, it's going to be used for everything. That's the whole point.
Well, I'm not saying like as a writing tool because I still think that people like Ben Affleck believe in the human aspect of writing.
Probably as like an artist or whatever.
Well, we run into a brick wall in the script and you've tried it a couple different ways and you ask AI, you're like, we've tried this, and this. Can you think of anything that might be better? And the AI will give you an idea that you can then use. This is like vibe coding. Like all three of us could sit down and tell AI to write us a program and it will. That doesn't mean it's going to be a good program. A programmer can sit down and tell AI to code something and it'll be a lot more full-bodied product because they are coders. They can edit and audit and tell it how to do it better. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I could tell AI to write me a movie or I could tell AI to write me a script, but a programmer or a script writer is going to be able to do that much better and leverage it as a tool.
Yeah. To
not necessarily do it for them, but to help them when they hit roadblocks. And like I said, this is here to stay. So we have to deal with it. But people are going to abuse it. Like every system, people are going to abuse it. And we're going to have some dreary, dull fucking AI script movies that we hate. And we're going to start, I don't know if we're going to start reviewing those, but
again, I'm not even looking at
this shit.
I'm not even looking at it from a creative point of view because like you said, like people could see that shit from 1,000 miles away. We all know what an AI thumbnail looks like on YouTube, for instance, and we all have the same reaction to it. Probably just like don't even click on it. You just ignore it because like, it's fucking AI. The creative side of it is not the issue. The issue is that, like I said, it's the jobs thing. It's like you're now doing something in seconds, which takes people like weeks to do. And then so let's say, what you just said comes to pass, right? It's like, okay, well, we're not going to fire you because you could still do it better. We still need you to babysit the AI. We're just going to pay you like half of your salary to do that.
Sure.
So it's like that's the fucked up part of it.
Probably not even a salary. It's like a contractor. Like
right, exactly.
We're gonna pay you for 4 hours of work.
In fact, that's actually Dusty. You probably have heard, being in IT. I've heard that happen to several people in IT. A lot of companies, probably even outside of IT, are actually like laying off their IT guys and then just hiring them back as contract workers. And so you're giving them, they're hiring them back in a way that they don't have to pay insurance, they don't have to pay overtime, they don't have to. It's just it's
correct. Yeah.
But yeah, that pissed me off this week. I saw that and I was a little bit heated. What do you got for us this week, Dusty?
All right. Well, let's talk about the merger a little bit more. HBO Max will be no more, as Bloomberg has reported on some of David Ellison's vision for Paramount's acquisition of WBD. The plan is to keep much of the company intact, keeping the creative teams of both Warner Brothers Pictures and HBO in place. Marketing and distribution teams would consolidate considerably. Obviously, that's just a corporate world. But HBO Max will merge into the existing Paramount Plus streaming platform, creating one service featuring the libraries of both companies to, quote, make Paramount Plus more compelling for subscribers, end quote.
Make Paramount Plus great again.
They're getting rid of HBO Max and merging it into Paramount Plus, but who knows what that's going to look like. That's probably a few years down the road. Ellison seemingly wants to release about 30 films a year from the combined companies, as well as leverage AI to produce more movies and TV shows. So
Paramount is actually saying, besides the 30 films theatrically, they're saying that they'll release 15 Warner Brothers movies a year, specifically. So half and half, I guess. They're also reaffirming the 45-day theatrical window.
Yes.
Now, there's also been some talks. I don't know if it's like real actual stuff or if it's just clickbait nonsense from horseshit YouTube channels. But from one of the horseshit YouTube channels who generally likes to play in the sandbox of horseshit clickbait, they were saying that like, James Gunn is for sure gonna leave because he makes it no secret that he is progressive. I have a hard time believing he's going to want to work for people who are, clearly on the other side of the aisle. And his contract expires, in like 2 years or whatever. And that might be true. That might be the case. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's like way too early to even like discuss that sort of stuff. However, we may have to, like you said, Occam's razor. Usually the most obvious answer is the right answer. And Paramount is already starting to hire a lot of people who got canceled during like the Me Too stuff, which is like, and I'm not saying that in a way of like they didn't deserve to be canceled. No, these are like human pieces of shit who are like proven sexual abusers. John Lasseter, Max Landis, Brett Ratner, Jeff Shell, they're all getting hired after this merger because the studio's looking for cheap talent and to cut costs. So like these guys are just getting jobs back. So like I don't even really know what's gonna happen with all this shit. It's actually pissing me the fuck off because like we finally got a good Superman movie. The DC is looking good, and it's just like, god damn it, man.
It's gone.
Zack Snyder hasn't ruled out bringing back the Snyderverse even as an animated film.
I never want to hear this fuck guy's name ever again. It's like
I find it troubling too. I don't know.
Obviously, it's more troubling that people who are abusers are getting put back into positions of power. Not the fact that I'm not going to get to see a Superman sequel, but
no. What I find troubling about this is that we're like, when you look at Hollywood hires, it's usually a recycling of somebody from somewhere else. Like the head of TV from this place goes to head of TV to that place, goes to executive of this place. Like it's all the same people, and we never get any fresh new talent. It seems like they just hire guys that have been in the system for 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And
power, baby.
Why not go outside, find fresh new talent, fresh new faces, bring in some fresh new energy? Like, what do we always have to regurgitate the hires. It's the same, like 12 people that move around all these companies, and there's only like 3 companies left. So
yeah. Oh boy, not dark times ahead, guys. Dark times ahead. Maybe Alfred. I'm not Alfred. Commissioner Gordon. Hopefully he's right though. No, not Gordon. Who said it? Harvey Dent. The night is darkest before the dawn, and the dawn is coming, but I don't know if the dawn's coming. Unless by dawn they mean like the flash of a nuclear explosion. That might be the dawn that's coming, but yeah, I don't know. This is here it is. Yeah, DC rumor roundup. Update on James Gunn potentially leaving DC Studios. This is all people are talking about, but it's like all based on absolutely nothing.
It's just why I didn't put any of this stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hearsay and hyperbole.
Guess what, guys? Cancel culture has been canceled.
I saw this. It was so dumb.
Marlon Wayans is canceling the cancel culture.
Oh yeah, and then they scream.
Yeah, no, scary movie. What we're trying to do is bring back laughter, he says. This is about bringing back comedy the way it used to be. I think the only way to do it is you have to cancel the cancel culture. And of course, Scary Movie 6. The trailer dropped this week. It actually looks pretty funny. What do you guys think? Are you
Looks funny.
Are you a Scary Movie fan, Marvin?
Big fan. Scary Movie 2 is the best scary movie of all time. And they're bringing back like the tiny hand guy.
Everybody.
Everybody's back.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of Easter eggs even in the trailer, so that was good.
I have a very fond and distinct memory of seeing the original one in theaters. As a kid, I was under 18. I was underage. We were literally trying to get in to go see it. They wouldn't let us buy the ticket. And a guy came with his kids, younger than us. Like, they were kids. We were like, I don't know, 16 or whatever, 15, 16. And we were like, hey, man, can you just like get us in? And he was like, yeah, all right. So we got in. And he was sitting there with his little kids, and we were like, part of it was like laughing because he was there with his little kids, and we knew it was like inappropriate, and I guess he didn't really realize what it was going to be.
Yeah.
But the scene in the first one where they're having sex, and he comes and like shoots her up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever laughed. They call me immature or whatever.
So
I was a kid. I'll still laugh at that shit. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Mm-hmm.
That I've never probably in the history of movies laughed harder. Like, I'm talking like 20 minutes of straight laughter when I first saw it. It's just, so those movies used to they used to cook, and then they got bad over the years. But like 1 and 2 were like
1 and 2,
brilliant comedies, and I would love to see it be good again. I'm not, I don't, this canceling the cancel culture bullshit is, I don't know.
I mean, I know what he meant. Comedy's always been like kind of outside of the bounds of cancel culture anyway, so I don't know why he's really saying that. But
I think that's where the argument comes in, right? Because some people don't think that. They think like, Joe Rogan's entire platform over the last 5-6 years is about like, make comedy, bring comedy back. That's why everybody's like, all the stand-up guys are like moving to fucking Austin, and like, it's like really stupid.
I mean, there was a move there, but
no, there was a move to Austin because Joe Rogan built his comedy mothership where like you could do comedy again. It's like, shut the fuck up, you never did comedy, you're not funny. Go on.
Right.
Yeah, but these comedians couldn't do comedy in California because they shut everything down. There was that too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Marlon's always been like this, though. I think like just bucking the system, and I'm sure some of these guys get sick and tired of saying, well, you probably shouldn't say that joke or tell that joke because of the way that PC culture is. So like, I mean, I'm
not against what he said.
Don't sell your guns in the hood. Well, what is the movie he did? The one-off. Don't
drink.
Don't be a menace.
Don't
be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood or whatever.
Yeah,
some shit like that.
It's some crazy ass name where
that was
just
like
the stereo.
One. The first spoof movie, one of the first spoof movies. Well, no, there's plenty before that, but no, like I get what he said. Oh, they're even bringing back Doofy. It's hilarious,
right? Yeah,
I understand what he's saying, and there is truth to it for sure. But I don't know that anybody's like not making movies because like, yeah, Like,
I mean, yes and no, because you talk to these guys and a lot of them will tell you like you can't make a movie like Tropic Thunder anymore. And so these guys, I think some of them are Marlon Wayne's like, scary movie. We're bringing back White Girls probably if Scary Movie is good.
Yeah. White Girls is so bad though. White Chicks.
Is it White Chicks?
White Chicks.
But think about it today. Like if they like hit all the punchlines today, it might actually be a new Tropic Thunder. It could be groundbreakingly hilarious. So
maybe
I don't know.
I think everyone loves White Chicks though.
We all love White Chicks. We love White Chicks. Trust me. No, there's some truth to what he's saying for sure. But like, it's interesting because coincidentally, somebody I was talking to recently, mentioned like 90s movies, 90s comedies, and how like 90s rom-coms specifically, and how like in the 90s like stalking as love was like a thing that was accepted.
Yeah.
And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I guess that was a thing, kind of. But like, is it really problematic? I don't think it is really. Because
like
none of those
portraying it that way in movies, you mean?
Yeah, because none of those movies are saying like, "Hey, you should definitely do this."
Right.
It's like they're movies. Movies are meant to be escapism, like they're fantasy. Even the ones that are realistic and gritty, they're fantasy, right?
Yep.
So like, is the problem a movie that's like portraying a guy or going like at like to maximum lengths to get a girl? The issue, or was the issue the person that like sees that and is like, oh, I should fucking do that too? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. I don't know where I don't know. I just like we've talked about it before. Like I miss comedies like this. Like they don't make them anymore. I don't know if it's because of cancel culture or all that. I think he probably just said that to like help the marketing a little bit.
Yeah.
I think comedy might have just changed a little bit, and like there isn't a huge desire for movies like this from newer audiences. This movie's marketed to people our age, like, right? Like,
so I think there's some jokes that some people may have stayed away from for a little while because of the way things were for a little while, but
maybe
I feel like it's all coming back. These kids are raunchy and they're looking for that raunchy. So
I mean, you're talking about Tropic Thunder. Like, well, okay, the only controversial thing about that movie is that Robert Downey Jr. is wearing blackface, but he's doing it not to do it. He's doing it to poke fun at it. That it was a thing at one point, right?
Yeah.
I can't speak on whether or not it's offensive. It probably is to some people, and I'd imagine to others it's not.
Is to some people, yeah.
I was watching Borat last night, and one of the jokes in the movie, because he's this weird guy from the hills of Kazakhstan, he goes, "Oh, a real guy with chocolate face, real face, like real chocolate face," he says, and it's like a black senator or a black congressman. And it's like, yeah, you really probably, it's not that you can't say that today in movies, but nobody really would, I feel like. So I get the argument, but like,
it just has to be, it has to do it well. That's all.
Yeah, it has to serve a purpose.
It has to be funny.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not funny, then of course it's cringy. That's like the whole thing with Dave Chappelle. Like you're ranting about trans people for 3 comedy specials, but you haven't said anything funny. If you say something funny, nobody's gonna give a fuck. Right. That's kind of where I stand on it.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. What's the last thing you got for us, Dusty?
It's racing season, as Dan said. I actually watched the Daytona 500 a week or two ago. It just started to really? Racing season. Yep, F1 just kicked off its 2026 series down under at the Australian Grand Prix. While this sport is for the uber rich, IMAX and Apple want to expand its reach. The two are working together. Rich, really? Well, I mean, this sport is literally for the uber rich. When you're spending $350+ million to race a car,
and it's in like Monaco, and Miami, and all these,
and you're just you're basically traipsing around the world, going to all these lavish places, drinking and partying, and spending hundreds of $1,000,000 to drive a car fast. You're not even doing it. Somebody else is doing it for you. You're just partying with your money.
Yeah, look at this place. This isn't a place for non-rich people.
This
isn't a place for
non-rich people. Non-rich people can enjoy it now because Apple and IMAX are expanding its reach. The two are working together to bring racing experience to fans across the U.S. 5 of the biggest Grand Prix in 2026 Formula One Championship, World Championship, will air live to select movie theaters across the U.S., specifically Miami, Monaco, Silverstone, Monza, and Austin. There's at least 50 IMAX locations nationwide where you can go watch F1 now. I don't know a whole lot of F1 fans. I know some racing fans, usually NASCAR or Indy. Not a lot of F1. F1, it's a little boring if you actually watch it. Like it's basically time trials is what you're watching. Time trials, I guess. Some people try and hype it up, but
I think
it's really about the show of it. Sure, I get that. Some of it's exciting when you're watching it. But yeah.
I'm sure if you understand it. Yeah, even that's boring. You ever have a gun pulled on you, Marvin?
Nope.
Yeah, I have. It was at a street race.
Damn.
I wasn't racing. I was I don't know if you guys know this about me, but many years ago, I used to work for my uncle who owns a car stereo shop.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, get down, buddy.
And my uncle was pretty, I don't want to say famous, but he was pretty big in the industry, especially in like the 80s and 90s. He was like one of the people on like the forefront of the industry of like car shows and like doing like, tricked out stereos with like the custom trunks and stuff. You've seen those, right? That's what we used to do at his shop. And I used to do that. And one of the guys I worked with was into like street racing and stuff. He didn't race, but he like used to go to them. There's a place in here in New York that was like, it's like a road that was like a popular street racing spot. And I went one night. It wasn't like Fast and Furious where it's like, oh fuck crap, but it was like kind of similar. And we had somebody whipped a gun out one night because he was pissed off. Scariest moment of my life.
Damn.
But yeah, so street racing, it's like, it's exciting, but it's like, it's for like I don't know. I don't find racing.
I was just kidding.
No, it is though. It is a thrilling thing to watch and be around. I'm sure being at a race, like hearing the like of the cars, like feeling it inside of you is like probably very exciting. But watching it on TV, like hell no, it's a snooze fest. One of my friends is
watching a whole race. No, you can watch the end of a race, maybe the beginning of a race, but once the race starts and then like if it's NASCAR and it's like 200, 300 laps.
Yeah,
you're paying it. You're scrolling your phone. That's a scroll your phone. Don't pay attention until it gets interesting in the last
5
20,
minutes,
30 laps. Yeah.
Dude, that's so boring. I can't believe it.
So now you're gonna be able to watch the Grand Prix in IMAX, huh?
F1 at 5 of the Grand Prix.
That's crazy.
I guess IMAX that's cool.
It's gonna have some crazy equipment, right, to film that.
Well. I guess just IMAX.
It's just a normal broadcast, I think. Yeah, just on. I don't know if they're using different cameras or not, though. That is a good question.
But isn't IMAX like low FPS?
IMAX is more about the sound, not really the screen quality. Technically, IMAX screen quality is like that's part of it, but it's the immersive totality of the experience. So like a lot of IMAX is about the sound because you can go see like a movie that looks really good, but the sound isn't IMAX sound. So I would imagine for people who are fans of F1, that's the draw is the sound of like being like immersed by that roar of the engines and shit. So that's kind of cool.
I think they would still want like
for sure
high refresh rate.
You ever been to an actual race, Dan?
No.
Marvin?
I've been to a couple drag races, and those are always fun because it's just quick. It's like a quick few seconds usually. So, and it's like people that build their own cars or whatever. Like those are pretty cool.
Yeah, they try to break like the
loud
land speed record and shit.
Crazy.
All right, well,
little drag races actually.
now's your opportunity. If you like F1, go see it in IMAX on the biggest screens around. But that's all we got for the news. Thanks for the news, Dusty. Folks, leave a comment down below on any of the stuff we covered if you want to give your thoughts. Thank you, Dusty, for the news once again. Let's move on to this week's review. And we're talking about F1, not the racing, not the real racing, F1, the movie. Now, I'll say it off the bat. The movie is technically incredible. The racing scenes are amazing. Sound design is insane. And it really does feel like you're sort of inside the car in a lot of scenes. But for me, a movie that's that impressive on a technical level is all well and good, but the movie didn't really have much to say, and that's kind of where it kind of lost me. There was a lot of things working against it for me personally, but I'm curious to hear what you guys thought about it. So this is F1 the movie, directed by Joseph Kosinski. This is the follow-up, not just the follow-up. I would say it's really the spiritual successor to Top Gun Maverick. This has a lot of the same elements in it as Top Gun Maverick. He clearly shot the film in a lot of the same ways, used a lot of the same, I would say, fundamentals of filmmaking for this. And it stars Brad Pitt as Sonny Hayes. We got Damson Idris as the young buck with a bone to pick.
Thundercat.
Yeah, the young Thundercat with a chip on his shoulder. Joshua Pierce. Javier Bardem as the organization owner, Ruben Cervantes. Kerry Condon as Kate McKenna. And some others. And this is like this is a pretty standard sports story, I guess. The old timer, retired, legend comes back to do a thing and butts heads with the new young up and coming Thundercat, and they
finally come together.
Then they finally come together for the good of the team. It's just it's your pretty classic standard story. And that doesn't make it a bad movie. That I'm not saying that at all. That's just for me, it was there wasn't a lot to really chew on. But Dusty, I want to start with you because you've watched this 15 times at this point. So
yeah, he's a fan. Hey.
Why don't we start with you? What are your thoughts on this?
So it's very definitely I guess you would call it a cookie cutter racing movie, and the Stallone style. The Driven is what the movie's called.
Driven, that's right.
With Stallone.
Good.
Where he is the seasoned old guy who won and retired and came in, what you were talking about, which is very much what that movie is. That's not necessarily what this movie is, and that's kind of why I enjoyed it. In that Brad Pitt plays the never what. He was a kid who was very talented, but he ended his career very early on because of an accident, and he never raced F1 again. And he went on to do other things, and he developed this philosophy in life that you kind of see throughout the movie of, why it's not about the money. Well, what's it about? You see this theme in the movie that kind of plays out till the end of it, because he races the Daytona, the 24 hours of Daytona, right? That's what's in the beginning. It's not the Le Mans.
Yeah. 24 hour,
so he races that and wins, and he's like, I want it done. I'm on to the next thing. And you find out he's going to Baja, but it's a good racing movie. If you like driving, which I do, you like driving games, Gran Turismo fan, or any sort of racing fan, you will love this movie. If you're not so much a fan, maybe you'll enjoy the story. I can't say, but the cinematography, the sound effects, the driving, I love this movie. It's great. A pretty decent story, kind of unique, like I said, and that he was a never was, and not the old retired. I know everything because I've won everything. He was the I fell off the cliff, and I don't want you to as well. So I thought that was a good part of the story, and I found it interesting. So that's why I liked it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different angle. It's I didn't reach my potential, and I don't, like you said, I
didn't hit the summit. I fell off before I got there.
And I don't want to see you do the same thing. I want you to be better than me. So yeah, I get that. What about
But
you?
at the same time, he's still testing himself the whole way. So.
Well, because he still has something to prove to himself.
Sure.
Or
that's what it's about.
Yeah. No, totally. I agree with that. What about you, Marvin? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So to not know or care about F1, it was definitely a cool watch for me. The cinematography of the races definitely carried the movie. I think some of those crashes were gnarly for sure. The most interesting thing probably was getting to like peer into the life of like an F1 racer. I thought that was pretty cool.
Did we though?
Looks pretty intense. Well, I'm just thinking like about like the pit crew and just like the actual job of the F1 racer, not like their actual personal life. Nothing like
you get to highlight different aspects of the sport. Sure.
Yeah,
it's fair. Like studying like aerodynamics and all that shit.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, like the tech and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
Adding on the parts and like the FIA or whatever it was called, doing the research into the parts.
Yeah.
There was some drama in there. It was good. I thought it was pretty interesting. Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah,
the board drama was a little predictable because you only saw one guy and you kind of like, he's going to be the one.
Yeah.
It's him. There's no other board member they've shown the entire movie.
Like
so that was predictable, but yeah.
Yeah, so I struggled with this one because I don't care about racing at all. At all. Like I don't like there's nothing about it that I find interesting.
New Yorkers.
No, I get like
they don't drive.
They don't even
care about it.
Exactly.
They don't fucking have cars.
The
buses and trains and shit.
Public
transportation.
I live in the burbs, bro. What are you talking about? No, I just I don't know, as a sport, like I don't find it really very interesting. Like I do find it interesting, and I understand it's actually very physically demanding, like racing, especially at that speed. Like you're dehydrated, like it takes a lot of physical fitness, mental focus and acuity. Like I get that. It's like a peak like human sport. Like I get that.
Sure. Yeah.
But I just don't find it very interesting. And so that's part of it. And so making a movie about it, I'm just like, well, what about this movie do I care about, really? So for me, like you go into it wanting like, all right, well, maybe we'll get like a good like character drama here. And like
so is that like all racing or speedway? Like is the Fastest Indian a movie that you enjoyed?
Say that again?
The Fastest Indian, is that a movie that you
I don't even
Anthony Hopkins?
Never even heard of that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If I'm being honest, I don't really like sports movies.
I get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Any sports movies? Like
generally, yeah.
What about like the CTE one with
didn't see it.
Will Smith. You didn't see that one?
No, don't care.
Oh wow.
I
that was actually good.
I just like don't.
You know what I'm talking about, Dusty? The CTE one with Will Smith. I forgot the name of it.
Yeah. Concussions,
yeah.
I forget the name of it too. He's the doctor that like came to the realization of that like,
and brought it to light. Yeah, it was good.
Football head trauma was a problem.
Yeah,
exposed it.
I don't like sports movies. I find them kind of boring and disinteresting. Mostly because I don't really like sports. Like I like hockey, but other sports.
Space Jam.
Space Jam's okay. Mighty Ducks is cool.
Ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, we got him.
There's been a handful. Not Friday Night Lights. Any Given Sunday is like good.
Wait. What about the one with
Caddyshack?
The white guy and the black guy, and they're like brothers. Like, oh yeah,
White Men Can't Jump.
No. The football movie.
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah,
Come on, everybody loves Remember the Titans.
Yeah. No, there's sports movies for sure that I find enjoyable.
Longest Yard.
Sensible.
Overall, I don't generally like sports movies. And so, all right, what were we gonna name every sports movie that ever existed? All right, so I don't really like sports movies, and so that is already working against it. And then plus it's like the idea of racing, which I also don't really like. I even care less about. And so so that's really the thing for me. However, like I said, that doesn't really necessarily affect the merits of the movie. I do think as a movie, like I said, it's technically very amazing. And I really love the idea that he did film it a lot like he filmed Top Gun. Like it has a lot
You're
of
gonna love the sequel.
Same things. Is there a sequel to this coming out?
He talked about making one in which Cole Trickle comes out of retirement, I believe, and races.
Cole Trickle.
That's what? Tom Cruise's character in Days of Thunder. So Top Gun-esque reference.
So I haven't even seen that.
So it'd be Days of Thunder, really?
Nope.
1990? Is that what this is?
Maybe that's the Make Marvin Watch. Here we go.
Him and Kim. I think this is the one where him and
I could just tell
this
from
is the one.
still.
Is this? I think this is before. What was the Oklahoma Land Run movie? Jesus,
I don't know.
With him and her before they got married. Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, we're derailing this entire conversation. All right, so you're telling me they're thinking of doing a sequel to F1 where his character from Days of Thunder is in it.
Racing Brad Pitt's character. Two old racers racing each other. Yeah. And Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise racing each other in an epic racing movie.
And then there's going to be a third one where they have to go to space and save the Earth from an alien invasion.
Well, now that's Fast and Furious. We've already done that.
We'll get there. Don't worry. Every franchise goes there. So at some point, yeah. F7.
Wasn't it the Fast and Furious 7 already like F7?
That was Fast 7. Or Fast 5. Sorry. I don't know.
Something.
Apparently the new one's the next one is the last one. Me and Ed have this like ongoing joke that like Dominic Toretto is like the most powerful being in the universe. That like if you don't send the Avengers, send Dom, like he'll handle it. It's like nothing. The power,
baby.
The power of family. He is inevitable. Yeah, so I don't know. I think everything about this movie, besides like the actual filmmaking of it, was pretty boring for me. Anyway. I don't think the plot the plot like didn't really give anything to like. I had nothing. Like I was like I thought it was too long. 2.5 hours is like way too long for.
It was long,
and you know me, I never complain about.
And
time.
It's long if Dan is complaining about the length.
Because I'm sitting there and I'm just like, God damn, like, how much of this do we need at this point? And I think the movie had like a little bit of like an 80s appeal to it too. Like it had some like the dialogue in this is like quite cheesy, especially in the beginning when it's just like standard cliche stuff. It's like that's Sonny Hayes, like as he's racing, like this just cuts to some guy.
Look at him go.
Yeah,
the commentary is a little cheesy.
What is this guy doing? He's like, he's racing. It's like,
well, yeah,
Ruben that's definitely one thing brought more from when he was on screen. Ruben's character, Javier Bardem.
He was cool.
Bardem killed it.
And I like Kerry Condon's character a little bit. What were you going to say, Dusty?
Race you through the races a little bit. And I do like that this isn't necessarily a whole season. They chop it down. They're like, there's 9 races left. Half the season's gone. That shit, don't even worry about it. So they're like, okay, and this is kind of why I like this movie is because they're like, this isn't a whole racing like Driven where it's a whole racing season and you got all these ups and downs and you race through the races. And it's all just like montages of races. They tried to stay away from that, and I kind of appreciate that a little bit, even though you do get a lot of racing in it.
I feel like the racing scenes were definitely the strength.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
But I do like that they didn't like show too much of the races. Like we just got kind of some of the peak stuff, like with the crashes and stuff. They kept it very interesting.
But they kind of race you through the races where like you if you watch a race from beginning to end, you're sitting down for 3 or 4 hours of your time in a day.
Yeah.
And so the audio from like the race callers when they're calling stuff, that's kind of stuff that would be spread out over the course of the race where they kind of jam it in. They jam it into 5 minutes. They're like, oh yeah,
to make it more.
His fairing fell off again. He did it again. He's the yellow flag again. The yellow flag again. Yeah. Get ready for plan C, where that's not something that's such of a big story. It's like, oh, it happened to him again. It happened to him 40 minutes ago. It happened to him an hour ago.
No, I like that stuff. It gives the movie a kinetic feel, and it's putting you in the actual event without showing you the whole event because you can't obviously show a whole fucking race in a 2-hour movie. But it gives you like the main.
It summarized it well, but it did feel a little mushed sometimes of like the repetitive, I guess.
Well, yeah, because how many things happen in a fucking race?
Right. And you can only do so much, but it was creative how they did it. Like the racing, using the caution flag to get ahead. There was some clever ideas if you're a racing fan of what they did.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff. I'm sure this movie slaps if you're a racing fan. But there's also a lot of stuff in there that I thought was a little bit too like. There's only so much drama that you could conjure in a movie like this. It's like okay, so the young guy and the old guy are butting heads. Okay, well now they're one's competing for like fame and glory, the other's just like trying to like prove that he isn't a fuck up or whatever. And it's like, oh well, now they're competing against each other. What? They're teammates. Like one's crashing the other one. And they're sacrificing the success of the org, and it's like, there's just only so much that you could do.
They're very predictable outcome, or I guess drama narratives. Like
it was incredibly
the kid's mom is worried about the old man putting her son in danger.
Right.
The guy that owns the club is worried about making it to the end. Like these are very predictable. Certainly,
him and Kerry Condon like that. It's just
the one female engineer he's interested in. Those are predictable storylines, but.
Yeah,
I think the development of them, you're like, that's going to happen, but it's not necessarily uninteresting how it happens, I guess is what I would say. Like, these two are going to have a romantic relationship, but how it develops is not necessarily like,
so that brings me
this
to
is boring to me.
Right. So that brings me to the question of who's this movie for, right?
Sure.
Is it for racing fans? Almost certainly.
Yes.
Is it for movie lovers? I'm not so sure.
Best Picture, no.
That's where I'm really surprised at that, to be honest.
That's sketchy as hell.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that it's got a Best Picture nomination. I don't see it outside of the, again, technical aspects. You want to give it like best cinematography, best whatever.
Deserves that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Best sound design, 100%. Best picture. We saw a lot of bangers this year. You're gonna put like doesn't
even have the depth.
Does The Long Walk not make Best Picture instead of this?
Right.
Like I find that very surprising.
I mean, I put those two up there at a similar level. And that's the thing where when you don't have, I'm the minority here as being a sports fan and sports lover, you guys don't care so much about sports in general.
Well, yeah. And
I love these movies and I can appreciate and embrace them a lot greater. So I'm the sole voice of.
Totally.
Yes, I love sports and I love sports movies. So.
I mean, listen.
Racing has got to be the worst sport of the sports as far as watchability.
To watch, I guess I would actually necessarily agree with that because I would rather watch golf on a Sunday afternoon than a race.
Dude, I have
golf is more relaxing. Divorce is more relaxing in racing. They're trying to be exciting, but it's a 3-hour race, so you can't be exciting for 3 hours.
I have fallen asleep at a baseball game, at a Yankee game.
Oh, baseball too, sure. But that's like crazy. Going to a race, I've been to Laguna Seca and it is amazing. Like if you can go into the middle of the track, you can watch those cars go up the hill and come around that hairpin turn
100%.
And you get to watch some of the wrecks and shit. Like it's awesome.
100%.
And you're walking around, you're seeing them in the pit crews and shit.
I'm not denying that, but but when you're making a movie, right? You have to make a movie, and so I think a lot of this, I think this movie just lacked storytelling as a whole. Like I'm not like I don't think it was weak in story. I don't think there was really storytelling. I think they just slapped this like very generic plot into a technically cool looking and sounding racing movie and called it a day. That's really kind of where I stand on it.
Not to be too punny. But I think the story of this movie is drive, and it's the drive.
That's fair. No, totally fair.
It's the drive of Brad Pitt's character in that I lost everything. I had to start over, and you see this lesson of he starts over all the time, and that like life is life. I'm here to just live it. I'm gonna experience it.
Well, he's in a perpetual state of starting over.
But that's his drive because he's already lost everything. Yeah, so he's gone to the top. He's fell off the cliff.
Yeah.
He's not trying to chase that anymore. He's just trying to enjoy the drive. And that is what drives him. Mm-hmm. And so being a movie about driving, I think it's a fascinating take.
I think that's fair. But like I said, this was nominated for 4 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Film Editing, Best Sound, Best Visual Effects. 3 out of that 4, fine. Best Picture?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a weird one.
I can give you probably doesn't deserve Best Picture, maybe, but I think at least Brad Pitt should probably get a Best Actor nod because while I knew it was Brad Pitt, I felt like he was more Sonny Hayes than he was Brad Pitt.
So here's the thing.
He took me out of that's not Brad Pitt. That's a guy that's driving and trying to win a race and figure out like Javier Bardem.
I did not feel that at all. I'm like, wow, this is Brad Pitt in this role. And I'll be honest with you, like the acting was fine. I don't have any problem with that. These are obviously great actors, some of the best in the business, though I've never seen Damson Idris before. But I found...
you haven't seen him? Oh, yeah, that's right.
No.
He was in that Snowfall show.
I found these characters to be incredibly annoying. I didn't like anybody. I didn't like the way Carrie Condon was portrayed. Really? I mean, she's a great actress. She's one of the best actresses living. Javier Bardem was fine. I didn't really care for Brad Pitt's like cool guy like character, like
living in a van.
Yeah, just like in the interview, at the press briefing, he's like, "So you got divorced?" Yep. "So you used to race but don't anymore?" Yep. It's like, all right, man.
Listen, give it another 10 or 20 years and you'll feel that stiff a little bit more. So I'm going to say age because
I'm not
I can feel that shit, man.
I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying it's like not interesting because we've seen it a billion times. Damson, Joshua, like he was also annoying. Like, hey oldie, or like whatever. Hey old man. Like it's like, all right, dude. I don't know. I just feel like
he was a little too cocky as a young guy that hadn't done anything, and I can agree with that angst because you see Brad Pitt trying to teach him like, and it's a little on the nose of I'm an angsty young good driver. Well, you haven't won anything. Your team has never won any points. Like, so you've got nothing to be a asshole cocky driver. Sure, you're an F1, but be proud of that. But you haven't won anything, my guy. And have some humility.
Totally.
And I think that's one of the things that makes this movie so good for me is Brad Pitt's character Hayes is a guy that has been humbled, and he's going through life not wanting to be humbled to that point again because that's scary. He almost died.
No, that's fine.
He's got the scars on his back to prove it, and he wants to humble people to a level that they're not doing things that are dangerous or but so there's that I don't know, like,
no, I get all that. I don't have a problem with any of that. The problem is that I think that the majority
it's tied into racing, and you don't care much about racing.
No, I think it's incredibly cliche. That's the problem. I don't think it really did anything original that you don't see. Like every sports movie is that. It's the It's the veteran.
There's a box. You're boxed in.
I don't think. I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know if you have to be, but like every sports movie is the veteran and the newbie. The veteran's trying to teach a lesson or whatever, and it's just like, all right.
You have the great team that falls and comes back, or you have the no chance team that fights through the adversity and wins it all. There's no, it's the box. You're in a box. There's no way to get her outside the box in sports movies. Even Invincible, the guy that walked onto the Philadelphia Eagles, forget his, Jesus, can't think of his name right now, but.
Anyway, when you are in a box in a movie like that, then how do you break out of the box? Well, you do it by technical prowess and innovation, and this movie certainly had a lot of that. So it's widely praised, like we said, for its immersive visceral on-track action rather than just the narrative, and it had this like hyper-realism experience to it that I thought was really awesome. And quite frankly, I think it does set a new standard for what cinematography can look like in those terms. It used actually innovative camera technology. The production team developed specialized small format camera systems, including custom built rigs mounted directly onto cars, allowing for high quality in cockpit and wheel to wheel shots, which included 65 millimeter cameras that capture the intense high speed footage. So that is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The tech use was amazing. Yeah.
The real world integration that it, rather than relying on like green screens and stuff, the crew filmed at 10 to 12 actual Formula One races. It integrated their fictional APX GP team into the real race weekend, including, for example, the pit lane giving the film an authentic lived-in feel. So that's why in terms of racing, it feels very realistic, because it was basically they actually filmed in actual races like they were an actual team. Awesome.
That's why you say it's a spiritual successor to Top Gun, I feel like.
Well, that and a lot of the shots and stuff, getting you in the cockpit and getting you like on the wing of the plane.
Right. Which they were allowed the access, and you weren't necessarily allowed access in a lot of racing movies. They have to do it. You know,
James Gunn took
F1 did a good job.
James Gunn took inspiration from Top Gun Maverick with Superman. Like there's, unfortunately, it's only 2 shots of it. I wish there was more of one. My only criticism of Superman is that there weren't enough of those shots. There's like really the 2 that I can think of. Yeah, the flying. But like when he flies, they put you. You're not like they put you next to him for that part of it, and you like, and especially in the opening of Superman when he leaves the fortress, like you feel that shit, and that was awesome. So I like that like visceral sort of like camera shit. But the sound engineering in this was insane as well. The film sound design, it won top honors at the 60-second Cinema Audio Society Awards. You know, reproducing that like engine roar and tire screeching and gear changes and like all that stuff that people love about racing is made it very immersive. And this is a movie that I think you would rather see in a theater. We've talked about that before of like, you don't have to see stuff in theaters that often.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a movie that like would be better in a theater experience, especially
made
in like
for the big
IMAX
screen. Yes.
Yes. You know, it's a well-made movie. That's not my gripe. My gripe is just there's nothing more to it than that. So when I don't care about that stuff per se, it's only so cool for so long, and I want something to really chew into, like a story or like character stuff, and I don't know if that movie really delivered on it. Yeah. So is this a bad movie? Absolutely not. It's quite a good movie. I don't know. It's missing.
If you can't relate to it, I get it.
Even if I was a racing fan, I don't think I would really like this movie that much, because I
disagree.
It's missing so much of what makes a movie, in my opinion.
It's got Best Picture, and racing fans are enjoying it. It made a lot of money. So not being a racing fan, saying if I was a racing fan, I still wouldn't enjoy it. Racing fans largely disagree. I guess what
maybe. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you look for in a movie. But I'm saying like,
as a racing fan, and as far as racing movie goes, this is one of the better ones we've seen in a while. Yeah, I would say.
That's what I said. Like, who's the movie for? Is it for racing fans? If that's the case, then sure, it did its job. But if you want it to be a fully fleshed out thing for everyone, I don't think it's that. Okay. Which is fine. Doesn't make it a bad movie. It just makes it not for everybody. And like you said, it is obviously made a lot of money. People praised it. So like, yeah, definitely not a bad movie. But by no stretch. Is it
not getting a bump?
Is it Best Picture of the Year worthy? I don't think so.
No,
at all.
It's not.
Even if you're a racing fan, it's just not compared to some of the other stuff we've watched. No,
it's not the Best Picture.
But you know, it is highly rated. It has a 7.
One of my more memorable ones of the year, though. Like, I wouldn't say that's top
totally
3,
fair.
but
totally fair. I could understand why. But it does have a 7.5, so that it's a good score. What I say, I could give it a little bit of a drop to a 7. The technical aspects of the movie were amazing, but there just wasn't enough there to really hook me in and like make me care. So I would give it a 7. What about you, Marvin?
I'll keep it right there, 7.5.
Okay.
Needed more character development. More storytelling.
Yeah.
Everything else was good.
Acting was the writing was a little cheesy. The dialogue too. Don't forget about that. What about you, Dustin?
There was some cheesiness in it for sure. I'm right there with Marvin. I don't think it needs anything. I think the 7.5 is where it's at. I think that's a strong score for a movie.
Yeah, that's respectable. For sure.
7.5 is watchable, enjoyable, and talk about later. So could it be improved? Absolutely. But it could also be, I've seen far worse racing movies. So go watch it.
There you have it, folks. There's our thoughts on F1. Let us know what you thought down below in the comments. Will it win Best Picture? Well, tune in next week because we'll be covering the Oscars. You'll be watching
Spoiler alert. No.
You'll be watching this on, what is it today? The 8th, the 10th. And the Oscars are the following Sunday.
A week from today, yeah.
Yeah. So next time you see us, we will be covering the Oscars. And we will tell you our thoughts. We won't be shy about it. If Train Dreams doesn't win Best Picture, I'm done. Okay. We do this once a week, folks. Tune in next week. We will be back with you covering the Oscars and all the cool entertainment news, as well as next week's movie, which is, let me double check because I forget. I have a bad memory. Next week, we will be talking about Sentimental Value, another Best Picture nom. So maybe that'll win. Who knows? Haven't seen it yet. We'll find out.
Haven't seen it. Yep.
So Sentimental Value next week. If you want to be in the know about what we're watching, we post our schedule on Discord for the entire month. The link is down below. Consider joining if you want. It's free. There's nothing going on over there, but really just our schedule. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. If you have not done so, hit the notification bell so you know when new videos go live. And leave a like and do all that cool shit. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, leave a rating on the show. Let other people know, hey, this is a cool podcast that talks about movies. Marvin hasn't seen shit. Go listen to his first time experiencing some of the greatest movies ever made that he hasn't seen. Yep. But yeah, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Last week, we made Marvin watch Heat for the first time. One of the greatest movies ever made. He never saw it. He saw it finally for the first time last week. If you're interested in hearing his thoughts on that and our thoughts as a whole, you could click the video that'll pop up right there and enjoy that one. Otherwise, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll catch you next week.
Asta.